welcome to the Patriot Training YouTube channel. My name is Clay Howell. I am the owner and head firearms instructor at Patriot Training. The purpose of this video is to teach you how to use the Magpul RLS Rifleman Loop Sling. The Rifleman Loop Sling is a tactical sling that harkens back into the first generation of rifle marksmanship around the turn of the 20th century. The sling allows you to carry over a shoulder like you are accustomed to, but at the same time it has a place for you to loop up on your arm, old school style, and when you configure it correctly, it also has a way for you to be able to shoot using a hasty sling or a Rhodesian style sling. We're going to show you some of that today. First is setup. And what you're going to have to do is once you attach your RLS to your rifle, you're going to have to play with this a little bit and figure out exactly how far this buckle needs to be away from your front sling swivel. The idea is when you put it on, you want to open the loop and 1/4 turn clockwise. 1/4 turn clockwise. Insert your arm, bring this all the way up above the bicep. Take the keeper and slide that down. You do not want this to be so tight that your hand turns purple. That's wrong. You want to be able to get 2 fingers into the loop safely and securely. Snug, not tight. When I have done this, I have mounted the sling. Now it's important that I position myself to the target. Bring my hand up and over the sling. Using my firing hand, I will mount the stock into my shoulder. And you see that provides a very stable support using this taut sling up against my arm. You can use this loop sling configuration in standing, kneeling, sitting, and prone, all 4 positions. The use of the loop sling requires that you adopt a position that is somewhat different than modern marksmanship teaches, and that's okay. You're not going to see an enemy 300 yards away and loop up and have any hope or prayer of being able to shoot that enemy in time. That's not what it's there for. The loop sling is to provide you with a level of stability in a sport shooting situation, maybe even a hunting situation, and on a rare occasion in a sniper kind of a situation. Using my old school rifle here, let's talk about the sitting position and how I use the loop sling. First, I have my loop high and tight on my arm. Remember, you want to be able to get 2 fingers into the loop safely and securely. You want it snug, not tight. If your hand turns purple, you're doing something wrong. Bring your hand up and over. You see the sling should rest flat against the back of your hand. Mount the rifle stock into your shoulder. For dry fire purposes, you see we have an empty rifle. I will mount the stock. Now let's check out the sitting position. Mount up my rifle, open the loop, 1/4 turn clockwise, can slide my hand in here. I can load the rifle, take my angle to the target, let's go see how I did. This is my 5-shot group from sitting at 50 yards. Obviously, the Loop Sling is a very good tool for precision and accuracy. Now let's look at how to use the Rifleman Loop Sling in the loop configuration from the prone position. Starting with a good loop, remember, high and tight on your arm. Remember, you should be able to get 2 fingers in here. If your hand is turning purple, you're doing it wrong. Your hand will go in like this, but first we've got to get into position. So, keeping the gun pointed downrange, I will take a prone position, and the first thing you're going to notice is that my body is at about a 35-degree angle. I'm not directly behind the gun. The reason why is this is a different kind of shooting. This is first generation marksmanship here. This is not the newest, latest, and greatest. I will loop my hand into the sling. Uh-oh, it became loose, so let's get it back up there high and tight. Hand over and in. You'll notice that the sling is flat against my wrist. You'll see that my leg is hiked directly behind me, and I use my firing hand to mount the stock into my shoulder. The front hand grip is very light. You do not have to squeeze this very hard. To dismount, you put the gun down, sit back up. You can loosen this and take it off your body. Now let's see what I can do with a Rifleman Loop Sling from a prone position on the target. Let's check it out. Let's put the sling on again. Open this portion, turn it 1/4 turn clockwise. Stick your arm up and in and bring the sling high and tight on your arm, all the way up to the shoulder. Slide the keeper down. It's going to be very firm. It's not easy to slide the keeper, but nothing in life that's worth having is easy. And you don't want this so tight that your hand turns purple. You want it just tight enough that you can work 2 fingers in there. That's how tight you want it. Now that we have the sling properly configured, I'm going to go to a prone position. I'm going to then load my rifle, and I will take 5 well-aimed shots. Hand over and through. Remember, the sling will be flat against the back of your hand. Front hand is not a death grip. It's very nice and loose. I'm going to make some minute adjustments to my natural point of aim here. Really good group there at 50 yards. Let's put the rifle down. Let's take the sling off. All right, let's talk about how to use your Rifleman Loop Sling on a day in, day out basis. Again, I've got this set up. I have carefully measured where my buckle needs to be. My keeper, I expand out fairly wide because I want to have a wide loop down here. And you'll see it's mounted traditionally. You can mount this on a side mount just fine. That works, and you can still perform a loop sling variation when you do that. That's fine. I like old school, and that's what this video is about. This is first generation marksmanship, people. So, the way you would wear this is simply by putting it over your head and your shoulder like so, and rotating the gun inboard. When you have measured this back part correctly, you'll have just enough room to bring this up in a ready up position. And I know that somewhere out there, there's somebody going, hey, you're bladed, you're not square to the target. Well, you're right. Because once again, a Rifleman Loop Sling is about old first generation shooting, and I'm not gonna be able to do the new modern third generation shooting where I square completely up. I'm going to have to be bladed. Plus, I've got a fixed buttstock on this rifle and a scope, which will not allow me to get completely squared up to the target and proper eye relief. You can't do that. Something's got to give. So this whole setup is designed for the old school kind of shooting. Am I going to have the fastest splits up close? Well, they're probably going to be faster than yours, but no, they're not going to be the fastest ever. But by the same token, I'm going to be able to hit targets 200 and 300 yards with this rifle exactly as it is while I'm standing. So let's talk about a couple of configurations that I can use. I can take my sling out like that and shoot if necessary. I can open this up, Bushman style, get my arm in like this and use a loop sling standing. And yes, if you're going to use a loop sling standing, you need to chicken wing this elbow out. And the reason why is you need to create a pocket in your shoulder for the rifle. This is not high speed, low drag. This is shooting a target at 300 yards standing. That's what it's all about. You got to modify some things. There's no solutions in life. There's only trade-offs. I trade off my mobility for the sake of steadiness. Another way I can do this is I can stick my elbow in here, Rhodesian style, and sling up. And this gives me some tension like this. And you can see I can get more square to my target and have some stability. That's another way to do it. Open this up, stick an elbow in, mount the rifle that way. Okay. If you go to an Appleseed, you learn about a hasty sling, and what you want to do is turn this that quarter turn. There's your hasty sling, right like that. Now some purists would say, well, you've got to go in here like this. You can do that, but you see, I'm not going to have any taut sling here because I've got to have enough length back here in order to carry it. Now, if you want to tighten this up so that you cannot carry cross body in a proper way, but you can have a good hasty sling, you can do that, my friend. That's fine. That's fair. That, my friends, is the Rifleman Loop Sling. It's a good tool.